Hello and welcome to Low Budget Gaming and welcome to another Steam Autumn Sale video. So this time we are looking at overwhelmingly positive games on sale. So only games that have an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam. So let's get into this. Before I do that, there is another bundle, so quickly wanted to mention this one. This is a bundle featuring a lot of Walking Dead games. So you have the normal games, the seasons, and you also have the VR games, Saints and Sinners and Retribution, along with some other smaller indie games that you may not have heard of. So let's quickly go over this. $1 tier, you can get the Season 1 of Walking Dead. $5, you get Season 1 along with the 400 Days DLC, which was at the end of Season 1. Season 2. Then you get Thief of Thieves Season 1. This is also another episodic Telltale style game. Then you have 3 indie games called The Big Con, Rainbow Billy, Curse of the Leviathan, Renfield, Bring Your Own Blood. So this is basically, it says here in the description, hustle and grift your way across America in the 90s as a teenage con artist on a crime-filled road trip adventure. This one is 2.5D Creature Collector, and this one is movie-themed bullet hell. So $5 for all this, not bad in my opinion. $10 will also get you Walking Dead Mission. So this was a 3-episode mini-series, which was like a spin-off, not connected to the main Walking Dead games. Then you have Season 3 of The Walking Dead, Season 4 of The Walking Dead, and then you have 3 more games called Homestead Arcana, Become a Farming Witch, Glitchbusters Stuck on You 1 to 4 player co-op shooter, and WrestleQuest Pro Wrestling RPG. For $10, all of this is not bad. And if you have a VR headset and you want some VR games, they also have a $15 tier where you also get Walking Dead Saints and Sinners and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution. So if you don't have a VR or if you're not interested in this, consider $10 the top tier, and you get 13 items in this one, 13 games. So I think it's not a bad deal. Well, 12 games in one DLC. It's not bad if you don't have the Walking Dead games, because you can get like the full definitive version of The Walking Dead, which includes all of this in one bundle instead of having to buy all of it separately. So yeah, it's not the best bundle in the world, but for $10, getting the whole Walking Dead and some indie games that could be some hidden gems in here is not a bad deal. Anyway, let's get to Steam. Hades. So we start with Hades. This is a dungeon crawler style hack and slash roguelite game set in the Greek underworld, Greek mythology. And yeah, very popular game. Has been out for a few years, was in early access before. I think from 2018 it was in early access and then full release in 2020. I never got into it. I have the game, but I've seen people really enjoy this one. So you can see 97% rating. So most people seem to love this game. 50% off, $5.50 in India, $12.49, £10.49, £16.25 in Canada, $18 in Australia, $141 in Mexico. Next is Portal 2. So one of the best puzzle games, you could say. First person, made by Valve, of course. Has a full single player campaign and also a full cooperative campaign, so you can play with a friend. Yeah, very fun game. I've played and completed this multiple times. Easy to run, funny game as well. The companions, the people, NPCs are very funny in this one. So yeah, 90% off, 48 rupees only, $1, 85 pence, 129 in Canada. So yeah, so if you haven't played this one and you're not that aware of this, definitely try this. It's so cheap, it's ridiculous. Subnautica. So in Subnautica, you crash land on an underwater planet and you have to figure out what's going on, why you crashed, and how you can get off the planet. So it's a lot of crafting, survival style game, but with an interesting story. But the story is not sort of hand-holdy. You have to sort of figure things out on your own. You can build a lot of stuff, you can do farming, lots of dangerous creatures, and the underwater segments were a little scary at times, if I'm being honest here. There's some very scary creatures. You'll see a lot of videos of people getting jump scared in this one, even though it's not a horror game as such. People say it's horror, but it's not. 67% off, $4.95 in India, $9.89, $8.24 in the UK, $13 in Canada, $9.89 in the Eurozone. This game also had a big update towards the end of last year. So there's a second game, Subnautica Below Zero, and they added some features from that game into the first game, improving it further. So it deserved this overwhelmingly positive rating. I played and completed this, and it took me just over 50 hours. Next is Resident Evil 2, so a horror game this time, survival horror, a very popular series, of course, Resident Evil. I had never played a Resident Evil game before this one, and I got this with my graphics card a few years ago, and I really enjoyed it and really loved it. Third-person shooter, but your bullets are limited, and zombies don't go down easily. You have to aim for the head or just disable them, like shoot them in the legs so they crawl and stuff. And the story is also kind of interesting, properly horrific creatures, some of them, what were they called, the leapers or something. Anyway, you can play the campaign in like two different perspectives, from basically two different people's perspective, and that also adds quite a bit of value in this one. So this one is 75% off, 500 in India, $10, 874 in the UK, 10 in the Eurozone, 80,000 in Indonesia, 200 in Mexico. Fallout New Vegas. So this was made by Obsidian Entertainment for Bethesda. You could say it's a spin-off Fallout game, if you will. There was like Fallout 3 and then this came out, and a lot of people consider this to be the best Fallout game. And yeah, so definitely check this out. It's a few years old now. You'll probably get a lot of mods as well, and it's quite affordable. So 75% off, 112 in India, $249, 224 pounds, 337 in Canada. There's also an ultimate version, so I would recommend at this point get the ultimate version so you get everything. So $297 in India for that one, $659, $890 in Canada, $197 in the Philippines, $198. Next is Satisfactory. So this is basically a factory management building sort of game where you're put on an alien planet. You have some crafters and you have to mine resources, build factories, transport stuff, build conveyor belts, and it's just very well made, very nicely optimized game. So you can see here base building, automation, crafting. That is how you would describe this game. Is it still in early access? Yes, it's been early access for a while, but it's always been overwhelmingly positive. So this is 45% off, 715 in India, $1649, $1649 in the Eurozone, $24.72 in Australia. Next is American Truck Simulator. So if you were in the live stream when I did the live stream for the sale, some of us managed to get this quite cheaply. So these are open world, you could say, driving games where you're basically transporting stuff in big trucks across America. And yeah, it's straightforward, but obviously managing a big truck is not easy, like parking, reversing, stuff like that. And you play this game for the scenery across the country that you go through, and there are a lot of DLCs for these games. So get the base game and then pick up whatever seems interesting. Don't worry about completing the whole thing and getting all the DLCs and stuff, because there is a lot. There's a lot of free stuff here as well. But let's say you wanted to pick up, I don't know, Montana. So you just get the base game, pick up Montana, play that, then you want to go to Texas or something. There's also a Euro Truck Simulator, also very popular. But yeah, the base game here is $230 in India, 75% off, $5, $422 in the UK, $5 in the Eurozone, $737 in Australia. Next is Undertale. So the surprising thing with Undertale is that it is from 2015. I forgot. I thought it came out a couple of years ago or something. But it is a very popular pixel art RPG, and everybody loves this one. Choices matter here. 70% off, only 110 in India, $3, $329 in Canada, $299 in the Eurozone. Next is Slime Rancher. So another cutesy, you could say, relaxing farming simulator style game where you are basically capturing and feeding these slime-like creatures. It's kind of relaxing. You get to new areas, you find different styles of slimes, and yeah, you just basically have a farm, you collect them, feed them, stuff like that. Kind of addictive as well. Like if you start playing, you'll probably get hooked and start playing a lot. So 75% off, $225 in India, $499, £399, $156 in the Philippines. Next is a newer game. This is Brotato, came out early this year. This is a survival bullet hell style game that became popular with the Vampire Survivor style game. There are quite a few games here, and this is one of the more popular ones. overwhelmingly positive. So you are like a potato guy with a lot of guns, and yeah, more and more creatures come on screen. Very easy to run, as you can see by the graphics, and also very cheap. Like the full price is also very cheap, so that's why I've included this here. 187 in India, 374 in the US, 299 in the UK, and 131 in the Philippines. There's also a bundle with other similar games. So there's Halls of Torment. There's one with 20 Minutes Till Dawn. This one looks really good. I have picked this up. Next, we have Deep Rock Galactic. So Deep Rock Galactic is probably the most popular co-op shooter PvE game, basically. So you are a colony of dwarves who mine for resources. I forgot what it was, but you are basically sent to mine something, and there are these bug-like creatures, and you have to sort of fight them off while dig and extract as much as you can, or as much as is required for that level or mission or map, and then you get out. So that is the whole appeal of this game. Very well optimized, easy to run, and very small as well. Like it's not like very big game, like a couple of GB or something maybe. So this is 67% off, 230 in India, 989 in the US, 824 in the UK, 989 in the Eurozone. Quite a few people playing as well. So it's up to 4 players who can play in co-op. So you can play with friends, play online, play with bots, and good numbers here. Next is Cuphead. So Cuphead, when it first came out, had a lot of hype for its visual style. This is made to look like the old cartoons from the 1920s and 30s, and it is also a very hard platformer style game. But it's not that hard. I mean, if you have played games, like there are a lot of hard games. If you've played those, then this is a very satisfying game. So co-op as well as single player. And it's the art style that is very, very good. Never goes on big sales, but it's also not a very expensive game. So 30% off, $3.95 in India, $14, £10.49 and 14 euros. There's also like a DLC called the Delicious Last Course. Next is something I haven't played, but I've heard a lot about. This is Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. So it says here, become Phoenix Wright and experience the thrill of battle as you fight to save your innocent clients in a court of law. Play all 14 episodes spanning the first 3 games in one gorgeous collection. So you are kind of a lawyer, and it's one of those visual novel style games. So yeah, overwhelmingly positive. And this is 67% off, $8.25 in India, $9.89, £9.89, $13.19 in Canada, and $9.89 in the Eurozone. So one of the reasons I haven't picked this up is because this game has basically no regional pricing. As you can see here, India and the US is exactly the same, in fact 1 rupee more. So one of the reasons I haven't checked this out. But yeah, it looks very interesting. If I see it in a bundle or something, I may consider it. So another very popular game is Slay the Spire. So this is a roguelike deck builder. So in these games, you have certain cards that you use for your moves to fight enemies, and you collect your cards, and you have a deck of like interesting cards and stuff like that. This might be the best of this type of game. So if you've never tried deck builders or stuff like this, this might be the one to start with. Overwhelmingly positive, as you can see here. It's been out for a few years and also on a decent sale. So 66% off, $3.74 in India, $8.49, £6.79 and $7.81 in the Eurozone. Next is Katana ZERO. So in this one, you are a hitman of sorts, if you will, and you are given missions to take out enemies. There's a very interesting story. Pixel art is fantastic. Music is great as well. So you are given these levels, and you have to make your way through these levels, taking out everyone with one hit. You'll also get killed with one hit, and there's usually a target at the end that you have to take out. Really fun game. When you complete it, you are shown like how you've managed to do it, how many times you died and stuff like that. A really good game. And so this one is 40% off, $414 in India, $8.99, $414 in India, like I mentioned, $7.67 in the UK, 78,600 in Indonesia, 13 in Australia. So let's look at some games with very, very positive reviews, overwhelmingly positive reviews. I'll try and make 1 or 2 more depending on what ideas pop up in my head. I've seen some suggestions, so I'll look into that as well. And yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know what you've picked up so far. I also need to do one for Epic in the meantime. But yeah, thank you for watching. See you next time.